Hey, we're doing stand-up shows October 20th through the 23rd in Florida and Buffalo. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com for a link for tickets. I'm here with Nick Cruz from the Fred Hampton Leftist, and we're going to talk about Joe Biden has approval ratings dropped to new low. Only 38% of Americans gave Joe Biden's job performance approval, down from 42% 3 weeks ago. Wow. Only 38 approve of Joe Biden's. 53% of people polled viewed Biden's presidency negatively. So here's the question. What do you make of these polls? And they asked Jen Psaki. You're not supposed to pronounce the P. Jen Psaki, which is what I like to get. I like to get a chilled sake when I go have sushi. So Jen Psaki says this.
Very tough approval ratings these days. I know you probably like to talk about polls, and you might say that they don't mean anything, but it's also fair to say the White House, when there are good polls, you publicize them. So what do you make of these really terrible polls? Are they that he's doing something wrong? Is it just the communication? Or is it he's doing the popular things that have to be done? Or something else?
Sure. Well, look, I would say that this is a really tough time in our country. We're still battling COVID, and a lot of people thought we'd be through it, including us. And because of the rise of the Delta variant, because of the fact that even though it was a vaccine that was approved under a Republican administration, even though we now have full FDA approval, and even though it's widely available across the country, we still have a quarter of the country who have, less than that, 20% of the country who've decided not to get vaccinated. No question that's having an impact.
Oh, my God.
Of course, as the president has said, the buck stops with him.
Oh, but the buck stops with him. I thought you just blamed the 20% of people who are unvaccinated. Hey, at least I didn't blame Russia. That's kind of amazing. By the way, vaccinated person here, I disapprove of Joe Biden. I told you, and she sounds like that guy sounded like he had a British accent or something, which makes sense because most American journalists who are allowed in that room wouldn't ask a difficult question of Jen Psaki. And and by the way, when she says the buck stops with him, what she means is he's not going to have much of a spending bill. That's what that means. By the way, she would have blamed Russia if she could have thought of it in time. She just didn't think of it. She's not against blaming Russia. And I want to tell you, so here is the real problem. Frustration is at an all-time high behind Biden's falling poll numbers. This is from the frickin' Jeff Bezos-owned Washington Post. All right, again, so this isn't some crazy idea that a comedian on YouTube is telling you. Even the establishment recognizes this shit. Just like the establishment recognizes that the Squad could run Congress if they wanted to. It isn't some crazy idea by a comedian, Jimmy Dore, although people want you to think that. The same thing is, the poll numbers are real. Joe Biden and the Democrats got complete control of government, and they're fucking failing. Mondale Robinson spent a large chunk last fall in Georgia clubs, bars, and concert venues convincing disenfranchised black men that casting a ballot in the 2020 general election, then the Georgia runoffs for the U.S. Senate, could finally mean real change in their communities. Remember that? Voted in, we're going to give you a $2,000 check. We got to get the majority in Congress. They got all that. Remember when he told everybody in Georgia that they're going to get you the $2,000 check to be in the mail? That never happened. He remembers the exact moment his optimism that President Biden would be different began to fade. When Democrats in May significantly weakened a police reform bill to get Republican support. More disappointment followed. Robinson was dismayed that Biden did not push to enact a $15 minimum wage that he promised. That thing that they all promised, they didn't do it. I think the frustration is at an all-time high, and Biden can't go to Georgia or any other black state in the South and say, this is what we delivered in 2021. Hey, who's stoked for the midterms? Black men are pissed off about the nothingness that has happened. Does it make the work harder? It makes it damn near impossible. After an initial burst of support, Biden has seen his approval ratings fall significantly in recent months. Polls show support for Biden has sunk notably among key Democratic constituencies: blacks, Latinos, women, and young people. Pew Research found Biden's approval rating among black Americans fell from 85% in July to 67% in September, while also falling 16 points among Hispanics and 14 points among Asians. Minority voters who helped fuel Biden's victory now see what they consider unfulfilled promises and dwindling hope for meaningful change. And remember this?
I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man.
Let's take a look at his record. The crime bill, the Iraq war, separate busing. I want a build a fence at the border. I don't want my kids growing up in a racial jungle. Take a look at my record. Kids in cages. We're looking at your record. Want to look at the record? You wrote the goddamn crime bill. This is exactly what did Ice Cube tell us?
The way it look, they don't have a plan. Everybody's, talking about get Trump out, get Trump out, get Trump out. If you vote, that's going to happen on the first day. So now what? Trump out, now what? What? What do we get in the first 100 days? That's what we're trying to figure out. What do we actually get that they could give us overnight like that? They just pulled $3 trillion out their ass and gave it to their friends. That's American taxpayer money. That's your money that they just gave away. And then there's 42% of black businesses closing. None of that money. Where's our fucking bailout? Where's the bailout? Not the PPP loan that they didn't give us. Where's the bailout? I don't want to hear about deficit. I don't want to hear about what our generations gonna have to pay. Because if we don't have shit, they ain't gonna have shit anyway to pay nothing. So we got to start something right now. Democrats don't seem like they got a plan. Republicans don't seem like they got a plan for us. So how the hell you going to vote for them? Make them earn that vote. They can start today. They ain't got it yet. They can start today. Make their ass earn that vote, man. Stop playing with these people, and they'll stop playing with you.
That's exactly what the message of the Jimmy Dore show. And of course, he got pilloried for that, and we got pilloried for it too. And I told people like Michael fucking, what is his name? The guy who did Bowling for Columbine. Michael Moore, quit pledging your vote to the fucking machine without extracting anything for your vote. It doesn't make you a good boy. It makes you the proper up of the establishment that is crushing workers. So that's what I told people like Michael Moore, who will never, ever not withhold his vote from a Democrat. He'll never do that. He will always vote for the Democrat, no matter what. He's spineless, and he's now part of these people are propping up the establishment. This guy was right. Ice Cube was right, and they all shit on him. And they didn't extract anything for their vote. And now that Joe Biden, he's not even giving them stuff that Joe Biden and the Democrats promised. They're not even doing that. They're not even giving you a $15 minimum wage. They're not even giving you a public option. They're not giving you anything. No student debt relief. No nothing. This is the Washington Post. This isn't Jimmy Dore and Ice Cube and the Fred Hampton leftists. This is the Washington Post Jeff Bezos owns. That's how bad it is. They can't ignore it. In some sense, the benefit of the doubt portion of Biden's presidency is over. While the president gained initial goodwill among many from simply not being Donald Trump, now those who supported him are demanding results. If midterms are about enthusiasm and turnout, who do you think is excited to vote on November 2nd at this moment, said chief executive of the New Georgia Project, which has registered more than 500,000 voters. Because it ain't Democrats, it ain't black folks, and it ain't young people. They're not excited about voting in the midterms. The concern that we have is that the Democratic Party, they keep repeating the same mistakes. Yeah, we worked for something here. Let's try something new. Let's be different. What good is a politician that doesn't work for the benefit of the community that elected him? Out there it is. Where's our, and I just want to play this for you. Here's Joe Biden trying to earn the vote of the black community, and they let him off the hook. Listen to this.
And so we would ask you to lend your voice and your strength and your influence.
So this is when he had a Zoom meeting with all the black leaders from across the country, and they were imploring him to do something for their community, and this is what he did.
Your power and your ability to reach across the aisle to try and pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. But failing that, we would ask you to pull from that act measures that can be enacted by executive order. You have the power to call for a national database on police misconduct. You have the power to ask for a registry that will allow people to easily search in public multiple misconduct complaints against particular officers. You have the ability to impose a database around police killings and police shootings. And these are things that you can do by executive order.
Okay, let me respond. I've got to go. Let me respond. There's a lot to respond to here. Let's get something straight. You shouldn't be disappointed. What I've done so far is more than anybody else has done this far. Okay, number one. Number two, I mean what I say when I say it. I mean what I say when I say it. I'm the only person who's ever run on 3 platforms that I was told could not possibly win the election, and I never ceased from it. One was on restoring the soul of this country because of what I saw happen in Charlottesville. That was it. No one else was talking about it. The words of presidents matter. Nobody else, no progressive, was talking about it. I did.
That was his response to them asking him to use executive orders. He starts yelling at them. And guess what? They took it and they voted for him. They did. Here's a little bit more of his answer.
But I have more of a record of getting things done in the United States Congress than anybody you know. Anybody you know. Anybody you know.
That's how he responded. So let me bring in Nick from the Fred Hampton Leftist. Would you want to respond to Joe Biden's falling poll numbers?
I have a lot to say about that. For one, let me start off with this. We talked about Jim Psaki in the beginning. I say it straight up. That job shouldn't exist. That job shouldn't exist. That should be Joe Biden taking those questions.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, Joe Biden's too busy. No, he's not. No, he's not. For one, he should be able to face the media and the American people every week to explain his policies and why he is failing. And that goes for every single president. Sarah Huckabee Sanders shouldn't exist. Jim Psaki shouldn't exist. Tell me why the president shouldn't take fucking questions from the media, for one. Secondly, you got a lot of stuff. You got a lot of crap for warning people about Joe Biden. I have to. Us at the Fred Hampton Leftist, all of us been warning people about Joe Biden, and I've seen this stuff go on in the campaign trail. And then there are boutique, privileged white leftists who got mad at me for not voting for this racist. And now there are people, they had to reconcile with the fact, and this is why Biden's numbers is dropping. They had to reconcile for the fact that they voted for a racist segregationist that is about to deport more people than Donald Trump did. These people got mad at me. I ain't got no apologies yet, despite all the stuff you see that he's doing that is destroying the black community. And I said before, nobody has done more damage to the black community than Joe Biden. And it's not even close. It's not even close. When you look at the crime bill, when you look at the bankruptcy bill, when you look at his time literally being a shill for Wall Street and the credit card companies that stole our wealth, he literally built the civil asset forfeiture law. And that steals our wealth. Who is more anti-black than Joe Biden? And I warn people this. Ice Cube warned people this, and they got attacked. I remember I was like, I said everything that's going to happen here. I said, if Joe Biden wins, that's going to be the rise of neoliberalism. Any progressive thought is going to be crushed, like we have seen. The black community will be crushed. You got people that say, oh, we support reparations. The Green Party have reparations on their ticket, but you guys voted for Jim Crow Joe instead. You have Black Lives Matter after the election, declaring victory. They was like, we did it. We got the racists out of the White House. How ridiculous is this? Jim Crow Joe is the racist. And now the people, their Trump derangement syndrome has worn off. And now they realize they voted for the same guy, except with the blue team. So it's very interesting and also kind of very frustrating because all the people who attacked me, all the friendships I lost, because I, as a black man who was a victim of Joe Biden's policies, spoke on them. You can't do that. You blue, red, brown alliance. You're gonna help Trump win.
Red, brown.
And now they're wondering why they're not getting anything progressive done. If only there was a black leftist, us at the Fred Hampton leftist, that was warning you guys this. If only.
Well, look what they same thing with Ice Cube. There's another black leftist warning people of it, and they shit all over him. So, yeah, it's amazing how they can get leftists and black people and people of color to support the establishment that is crushing them. And I showed you that meeting with the black civil rights leaders, the African American civil rights leaders. They didn't push back on that shit, did they, Nick? They told people to vote for him. They didn't say, "Fuck this guy. This guy's not going to help us." They didn't do that, did they?
Not at all. And once again, I can't emphasize enough, like when you saw Ice Cube get attacked, you guys gotta understand what that is. When Nicki Minaj get like attacked by the establishment in a coordinated way, because both those are coordinated events. When you see that, you gotta understand what that is. That is the establishment telling our black influential leaders, you better stay in line. I remember when I made that tweet that the shit list was very upset about, because I told you guys this would happen. If we fall in line for Joe Biden, we'll be in the worst position. You had John Legend that was like, "Oh, you tell me if we don't vote for Joe Biden, it'll be the end of our democracy."
Jesus
So
Christ.
John Legend is one of the black shit libs that fall in line for the Hollywood machine.
Yes.
Like a lot of them have done. And us at the Fred Hampton Leftists, we are here to remind these people that these people are class loyal first, black second. That's why you have Morgan Freeman coming out for the giant police state that doesn't justify itself. Because they are loyal to their class. They are loyal to the Democratic Party. And that's why these leaders led us off a cliff. They sold us out to the police state 2 times. The black boomers, the black celebrity, and the black millionaire class. In the 90s, when they fell in line with the crime bill, the Black Congressional Caucus, and now they did it again. Now they fall in line with the national security state that will surveil our movements, like they said they will do. You got the Democrats who are pro-CIA, and they monitor our chats and our protests. Rah-rah Democratic Party, though.
Yeah. There you go. Keep voting keep giving your vote to the people who are oppressing you and wonder why shit doesn't get better. Keep pretending that the people who are fucking things up are people with no money and no power in their garage doing a YouTube show. Keep on getting mad at nobody with power. Keep on getting mad at fucking Tucker Carlson. But don't get mad at the people who have the power to help you and absolutely won't. We're doing stand-up comedy in Florida, in West Palm Beach and Dania, and then we're going to Buffalo, Baltimore, Tempe, and Portland. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets.